This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Welcome back. A recent study revealed that Americans are falling behind in saving for retirement. Only 43% of U.S. workers reported having savings and investments that totaled over $25,000. David Bethel is here this morning to shed some light on this topic. How are you doing today?
I'm very good.
So, last month when you were here, you had mentioned that the American middle class income is not anywhere where it needs to be for saving retirement. Is that a problem that we're facing today?
It is part of the problem with saving for retirement. When my parents were working, the largest employer in the United States was General Motors. In today's dollars, they paid their average worker $50 an hour. Today, the largest employer is Walmart. Walmart pays their average worker $10 an hour. It's a middle class problem because it's not the same for higher income. CEOs, when my parents were working, made 20 times the average worker's salary. Today they make about 270 times the average worker's salary. But that's not the only problem.
Right. And so, before we talk about what the other problem is, what you were saying about the dollar difference, I know, out of college, especially with different professions, some of, starting pay for, let's just say, in our field, for starting reporters is anywhere from $17,000 to $20,000. Now you have student loans on top of that. I know for the first 2 years that I worked here, I wasn't able to afford to put money aside every paycheck for a retirement fund. So that's another problem we're facing these days.
It is. Debt is probably the other biggest issue besides lagging incomes. Going back again to the 70s, there weren't any credit cards, so there wasn't any credit card debt.
Right.
For most households, the only debt they had was the mortgage on their house. Houses were smaller. It took less than 25% of their income to pay the debt. Today, with larger, more expensive houses and credit card debt and student loans going crazy, the average household is paying 40% or more of their income to pay off the debt. You can imagine what that trend does to families' ability to save and invest for retirement.
All right, so we know that there's obstacles we just mentioned, whether it is credit debt, student debt, low income, or even income to debt ratio. How do we go about starting a retirement fund?
For many workers, they have an opportunity where they work to contribute to a 401k. They can do it through payroll deduction. It's designed to be as easy as possible. And for most of those workers, their employer will match a portion of the dollars they save in their 401k. So maybe the employer, for example, would match dollar for dollar up to 3% of the employee's salary. So if the employee is able to save 3%, get a free 3% match, they're now saving 6% for retirement. That's a good way to get started, and still we see people all the time who don't put enough money in their 401k to get the free match dollars.
And how much do we know to start saving?
Yeah. Well, getting started is the first thing to do, and then you have to keep increasing that until you reach your target. And for most Americans, they would need to save somewhere between 10 and 15% of their income to really be on track for a successful retirement. Getting that free money in your 401k, that's the first thing to do. So if you put in 3 and you get a 3% match, that you're at 6. You're still not to the target. If you can increase it past that, for most Americans, the best thing to do is open up a Roth IRA. In a Roth IRA, when you make contributions and you have earnings on those, there's no income tax on the earnings. And that's a wonderful opportunity. Now, I have to always say, not everybody can contribute to a Roth IRA. If you have too much income, you can't, and everybody has limits on what they can put in, so be aware of the rules before you open up the Roth IRA.
And how do we know if we're on track?
That's really the thing that people want to know, and the great news is that there's really a great resource, or there are a lot of them actually, but my favorite one is available at www.money.cnn.com. Now that's a busy website, but under the personal finance section in the calculators tab, there's a calculator called How Much Do I Need for Retirement? It's very easy to use. You tell it what your current age is and at what age you would like to retire. You tell it what your income is and what percentage of your income you're saving for retirement. And finally, if you input how much you've already saved for retirement, it will do a really good job of estimating your Social Security benefit and then giving you really good feedback about whether or not you are on track for a successful retirement.
All right, all good information and a great tool as well. I know
Yes.
that a lot of companies that have retirement saving plans, they offer that tool as well.
Yes.
So thank you so much, David. What we'll do is we'll post everything on our website at heartlandconnection.com, and we'll link up David's information as well if you have any questions, and we'll be right back.